Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I wanted to say thank you all for having me here as a representative of the athletics department here at our school. We just wanted to say thank you for giving us the chance to talk over our COVID-19 mitigation plan and why we think returning to school is the best plan for us. So just a quick overview about COVID-19 in general. So COVID-19 is a disease that is caused by a virus. It is very contagious and it spreads rather quickly. It can cause respiratory problems that often are similar to a cold, the flu, pneumonia, and anyone infected with COVID-19 can spread it even if they are asymptomatic, which is just another word for saying that they are not showing any symptoms whatsoever. So I pulled up some charts that I got off of the CDC's website just to show y'all a couple of statistics. So as you can see in this bottom picture right here, we fall under Region 6 as we are in Texas, and this right here is the most recent data that I was able to find on the CDC website. It is dated from January 5th of 2022 through November 9th of 2022. So this data represents the deaths for each of the Health and Human Services region. This particular data is Region 6, where, as you can see here, includes Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. And so, in the beginning of the year 2022, death rates per week were pretty high, but as we reached into April and March of 2022, the number decreased significantly and has remained pretty low. So the people who are at risk for COVID-19 are your older population, probably 65 years or older. You're immunocompromised, so people with immune disorders, or they're just think of cancer patients who are going through chemo whose immune system might not be as strong, or just anyone with a weakened immune system or a compromised immune system. Certain disabilities, which were more like those who have disabilities who are unable to communicate if they're feeling symptoms or if they are feeling sick. Those with a disability that prevents them from having the cognitive ability to wash their hands properly or regularly like the CDC requires, or just any disability like that. It also included people who cared for such people. Some underlying health conditions can also make someone at a higher risk for catching COVID-19. So our goals as an athletics department, and why we believe returning to school and returning to athletics will be beneficial, is it gives our students and our athletes socialization skills. Being able to properly communicate with another human being is something that they aren't learning, especially our younger students aren't able to learn because they have been sitting at home all this time. Being able to have a proper conversation, or to respectfully talk to an elder like a teacher or an administrator, being able to communicate with them is a big skill that I believe, or we believe as an athletics department, that students are not getting by sitting at home 24/7, not being able to leave their house. Another goal is a guidance of having a teacher there with you at all times when you're learning versus teaching yourself. My experience with online learning is that it's a lot harder to reach out to your teacher to ask for guidance or help with assignments, learning materials, because they're not right there with you. If you email a teacher or if you're on Zoom with the teacher, sometimes it's hard because the connection's out, you can't really understand each other. We personally believe it's a lot easier to have that one-on-one learning experience when a teacher is right there by your side all the time. So if a student is struggling to learn, they are able to reach out to them and not have any issues understanding or getting further learning from them. And then just getting out of the house or being in a new learning environment, it's tough sitting at your house all day long. When you wake up in the morning, you're in your house and you get up and you log on to Zoom or you log on to Canvas to do your assignments, and you're just in the same four walls all day long, and that can be very difficult. So just having a safe place to leave your house and get out and be in a new environment can be very stimulating to the brain and can help these students. And then having a set schedule versus on your own learning, whereas having a set schedule, you have to be at school at a certain time, you have practice from a certain time, you're in this class from this time to this time, you have assignments due particularly this day when you come into class, versus online learning where some teachers set it up where it's on your own, where you're given everything up front and everything has to be done by a particular due date. Having a set schedule helps keep students accountable and can help them stimulate their brains just by having a schedule to follow rather than putting everything off to the last minute because you are doing everything on your own. So, why should we bring back athletics? Having athletics or having sports as an opportunity for students it's an outlet for some energy. A lot of students sitting in a classroom, and I think about your ADD, ADHD kids, your kids with anger issues, social issues, just having all that pent-up energy sitting in a classroom all day long. Being able to go out onto the field or onto the court or whatever sport that it is, being able to go out there, it's an outlet for them to release some of that pent-up energy, so when they return to the classroom, they're not all strung up, I guess. As humans, we all have a competitive nature, and athletics is a good way to stimulate that. Just being able to play in a friendly game, whether it be a scrimmage at practice or to compete in a real game or just a friendly competition between teammates, just having that natural competitive nature is a part of us, and again, it's just really stimulating for the brain, and it gives the kids something else to look forward to. I also believe that the value of the game, winning and losing, knowing how to be a good winner, knowing how to be a good loser, is a skill that everyone needs to know, because you're going to have things in life where you win some and you lose some, and you need to know. It's a good skill to know how to be good at both, because there are bad winners and there are bad losers, and knowing what makes you a good winner and a good loser versus being a bad winner and a bad loser is something I believe is good to know. It's a good source of exercise and activity. Being stuck in the house all day long, you're not moving around as much, and so having athletics as an outlet to get out there for a couple hours a day and run, condition, do whatever it is, be active, is going to be beneficial to all of our student athletes. So some benefits for the school and for the athletes themselves can be having athletics can boost school spirit. It gives the community a chance to come out to the school and show their school spirit and just to support the kids. And yeah, it also just gives more opportunities for other programs outside of athletics. I'm thinking fine arts like band, cheer, drill team. Some schools even have an a cappella group that comes in and will sing the national anthem for games. I mean, it's just an outlet for everyone. And it also is a mind break for students. Some kids need that break in the middle of the day for athletic period to go and have fun and let loose by playing and practicing their sport and then going back into the classroom and learning. It's just a good way for that. So prior to the return of having our athletics back, I believe that we need to have all staff and athletes COVID tested prior to returning. Just that way we know that everyone coming into our facilities is starting off COVID negative, and it can help eliminate the risk of spreading. If we disinfect all our surface areas and all of the equipment, make sure all germs are off of everything before we start letting people in, it'll be another great way to for risk management. We also believe that having our treatment tables 6 feet apart just to give that social distancing, and then for the athlete to athletic trainer ratio would be only one athlete in the room per athletic trainer. So if there's only one athletic trainer in the room, then only one athlete should be in the room. If there's 2 athletic trainers, 2 athletes can be in the room, and etc. This will just keep the social distancing as much as we can, and just trying to keep multiple athletes from piling into the training room all at the same time, just to help with social distancing. Some policies I think that we should enforce would be that athletic trainers must wash their hands before and after working with an athlete. We're going to be hands-on with them, going to be touching them. So I think it's a good idea just to, practice good hygiene and washing hands just to get rid of any germs that may or may not be on your body. I believe that athletes should wear masks when they're working with an ATC. Like I said previously, athletic trainers and athletes are doing a lot of close one-on-one activity, and so having the athlete wear a mask, and even the athletic trainer wearing a mask, would help eliminate that spread with them being so close together. If an athlete is not vaccinated, I believe that they should COVID test at least once a week, just to make sure that when they're going home, they're not being exposed or anything and bringing it back into the training room. And if they are vaccinated, we believe that the athletes should only be COVID tested if they are feeling symptoms. So to help minimize the risk, I believe we should do some temperature reading before starting the activity or before stepping outside. I'm thinking your football athletes before they go outside on the field, because if it's hot outside and they've been sitting in the grass stretching for 20 minutes before you take their temperature, then it's probably going to be warm. So if we take their temperature as they're leaving the locker room before they head outside, then we have a good idea about what their actual temperature might be. And then whenever you see an athlete, just asking them a couple quick yes/no questions about feeling any symptoms. And if they are feeling symptoms, then they need to know that they need to report them, and that we can test them and go from there. And then just continuing to test the athletes and staff as needed. So for return to play, if an athlete is exposed, we believe that we should just COVID test them and monitor their symptoms. If their test comes back negative and they are asymptomatic, which means not showing any symptoms, then they are good to participate. But if they test and the test comes back positive, they are immediately sent home, where they are to quarantine, and they cannot participate for a minimum of 5 days after their test. And this is per CDC guidelines on their website. So here's my resource where I got all the information from, and I just want to thank y'all again for letting me come in and talk to y'all, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day.